Yes, people, we are back with the Red Cartel. I am back again. It's your boy Errol. I have got another panelist of Cartel lads and members up in the building tonight. The Prem's back, baby. The international break is done. It is dusted. I am fortunately enough to be joined with man like Greg. Who's Greg's in the building? I've got Shane in the building. I've got Sheik back in the building. It's been a minute. And I have got Jamie Phillips in the building. By now, if you've been watching the Red Cartel for a period of time, you'll probably know who these lads all represent and who they support. But first, I just want to just jump in there quick. Shane, you were just telling us off here how you was feeling after this international break. Give us a bit of a rundown of the last couple of days, what it's been like for yourself.
Yeah, a big up having me on, of course, a big up to the panel and the chat as well. Yeah, no, it was just one of those international moments. I don't think I've had one like that since probably 2002. Robbie Keane when he scored against Germany, when when you just lose it, when you completely lose the plot and you sort of come back around and you realise what's happened. And ironically, the goal that went in, the last minute goal, was a carbon copy of Robbie Keane's, the same flick on, the same everything. It was one of those things that's written in stars. But when we lost to Armenia in the group, I was the manager out, all of that. But I wasn't the only one. Everybody wanted him out. Everybody wanted him out. He just said it had gone too far. But for those two games against Portugal and Hungary, he just went back to old school Ireland. He realised we don't have the players to compete with these guys on the technically. So just played into the corners, get in their face, put them under pressure, Jack Charlton style. We beat Portugal 2-0 and then we went and beat Hungary 3-2. And it was just one of those amazing things. We're after getting a fantastic draw as well, the best we probably could have got to get in. So we have an away match against Czech Republic. And then we have a home draw against, if we do get through, against either Denmark or North Macedonia. And then that could be it. So, we could have gone the Scotland or the Wales route. They could get Italy if they get through, and Northern Ireland have to play Italy. So it could have been a lot worse. But yeah, no, I was buzzing, man. I was walking on air. Proper international break. I know I'm not the biggest fan of them either, but I think when you're Ireland and you're showing a bit of character like that, it's different gravy when you're the underdogs. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, it was a lovely moment, and yeah, I was glad I caught it on a stream and stuff like that. But yeah.
Good lad. Well, I made up for you as well, and I think the clips that I've been doing around on socials this week, you can just see how much it means to people, and as you say, that real underdog nature of it, and kind of fighting above your level to an extent. It'd be massive, and obviously, if Ireland were to make it to the World Cup, there's a lot of Irish over in America anyway. They would absolutely have a field day if they got the chance to back their lads in a major tournament. We're going to start on Arsenal tonight because I think, based on the internationals, I think the mood in the Arsenal fan base, again, correct me if I'm reading it wrong, is one of a little bit of concern. I don't think they've completely lost their heads by any means at this moment in time, but I think a couple of key injuries to a couple of key players, and Shane, you've been someone that's been on this channel, on your own channel, on various other channels for a number of months, and we've spoke during the international, and you've highlighted, you almost had it on a countdown, and you knew which player was going to drop based on how many minutes they've played over the past 2-3 seasons, and you've predicted this. And it's not because you wanted to predict it in a sense to undermine the efforts of these Arsenal players and what they've been, the way that they've started the season, but you just highlighted it because you just think at some point something's got to give, and something will give either in terms of results because they'll just plateau out, or injuries will start to rack up because they'll just start picking them up as kind of being overplayed and overused. Where do you kind of sit now? Are you kind of, I've been calling it, so I'm not surprised, or do you think actually this is why we went and invested in the amount of depth that we got in the summer? So if these situations did happen, we can be prepared for it, and there's still no excuses.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Earl, that you are right. This is one of the only things in life where you don't want to be right. When you call something bad in your team, it's one of the times you want to be wrong. I want to be proved wrong. People seem to think it's the other way around. I want Arteta to prove me wrong. I want the so-called top gooners to prove me wrong, that they're right, that we're going to win the league and stuff like that. That would make me the happiest man in the world of Arsenal to win the league. I haven't seen it in 22 years. But the reason that I was telling you that these guys are going to drop is because it's plainly obvious that the whole thing about the big squad was, we were told by all these guys on panels that now that Arteta has a big squad, he's going to rotate. And me and DJB and a handful of others said it won't make a difference. He won't rotate. He'll play the same 11/12 players-ish relentlessly. He'll play the main five of Rice, Saka, Timber, Gabriel, and Saliba. He'll play them relentlessly every minute that God has given. And just to put it into context, Gabriel played 28 minutes of a preseason friendly after 6 months out, right? 6 months out with a grade 3 hamstring, which has ruined many a player. He then played 62 minutes of the last preseason friendly. So he played a total of 90 minutes of preseason football, coming back from 6 months out. And he has played every single game this season in the league. Every single game in all competitions he's played. He had 2 where he didn't start, Brighton and Port Vale in the League Cup. He came off the bench for half an hour, so he had to warm up. He had to play for half an hour. He had to warm down. He started every Champions League game. The only time he got subbed off was when he got injured. He has played more minutes than our goalkeeper. He's played more minutes than any other player on our team. He's played, I have it here, 1,356 minutes. When you put that next to Man City's highest paid centre-back, Ruben Diaz, he has 1,189 minutes. So that's 167 minutes more. We're about just under a third of the way through the season. If you add in cups, let's say 3.5 times that, you're looking at 584 minutes-ish, which is about 6.5 games extra that he will probably on average play. Well, now he won't that he's injured, but he would have played. So the thing is, this has been coming a long, long time. And like you said, because I'm prepared for it, it still gets you angry because you know it's coming. And what really gets me angry is the fact that the second it happened, the second he went down, all of these guys that are corporate shills for this club, all of the reporters that go in and interview Arteta and stuff like that, they went live instantly and they said Brazil, international, Brazil. They just kept repeating that. So everybody knows that this is an Arteta injury. This is not an Ancelotti injury. He played a player that he needs to play in a friendly. They had planned to only play him for 60 minutes. And I'll finish on this. I will ask any of these guys that claim that this is Ancelotti's fault. Are they telling me that if there was no international that weekend and we had a match against anybody, that Arteta would have looked at Gabriel and said, oh, he's in the red. I'm not going to play him. He has been in the red all season. Calafiori was injured. They say, oh, he got injured with Italy. He didn't. They sent him back because he was injured. They said, look, you can't play. You're injured. You got a hip problem. He was sent back. We were told a couple of weeks. Gabriel gets injured, and now we're told that Calafiori should be ready. So he's just being rushed back again. So he'll drop soon. Timber will drop soon. Declan Rice will drop soon. These are when you look at the minutes we've played.
How long is he meant to be out for now? Do you know, Shane?
Gabriel, 2 months.
Yeah.
2 months.
2 months.
Yeah.
Well,
so I see Christmas now again. He's another couple of months now added on. Another
setback. Yeah, with his knee? Am I right in saying?
Yeah, well, he got a grade 3 hamstring at the end of last season as well. He snapped that off the bone, and then he got rushed back. He only got half an hour of football before his other leg went.
Yeah. Well, so apparently I seen a stat the other day that said since the start of 2022-2023, the Gunners have won 67% of the Premier League games when Gabriel has started. So 75 out of 111 compared to just 50% without him. So the draws and losses are significant when he's not a feature or you know
he's Arsenal's Virgil van Dijk, ain't he? I think that's what.
Well, I was going to say this on the show the other day. Funny enough you say that. I was going to say he's probably been more transformative than Saliba, even if it's taken him that little bit more time. Yeah. Last 2 seasons, this season and all of last season, he probably has been the most transformative player in that Arsenal squad. Is kind of my take on it. I don't watch Arsenal week in, week out, but in terms of what they've been doing and where the direction of travel, massive. What do you make of it, Jamie?
Like Arsenal under Arteta have had a lot of muscle injuries, don't they?
Yeah,
and it always seems to be the same amount of players all the time. And it's like once they come back, he just constantly plays them no matter what, without any break or rotation, which is a bit. And then they get a muscle injury again, and a muscle injury again, and a muscle injury again. So yeah, there's something not quite right there. I mean, I think you got quite a few injuries going into this weekend, haven't you, as well? So.
Do you think you've got enough to deal with Spurs? Though,
yeah, they got a good squad. They got a good squad, you mean? Look, Shane will attest. He probably hears this all the time as well. You know, Arsenal fans say they've got the best squad in the world, so
that's not true.
They should be able to. They should be able to cope with these injuries. But the thing is, it don't matter what size of squad you got yet. Sometimes when you got special players that are getting injured, you haven't got the replacements of them sort of players anyway. So they are going to be a miss, no matter how good your squad is. No matter how good your squad is. You know, if Messi got injured for Barcelona with all the quality at that time when he was there, with all the quality around him, you haven't really got anyone to come in for Messi. So you're going to be weaker no matter what. You know what I'm saying? So special players getting injured, you haven't got to replace him. I think Gabriel is a special player. I think he's a very, very good footballer, very good defender, and he's lethal in both boxes at the end of the day. He's a match winner at defending and scoring goals and getting goals for Arsenal.
It's a very good shout, that.
Because when you watch Arsenal don't always create a lot of opportunities in open play. They get their opportunities from, the set pieces they get, and they get goals, not sometimes directly from set pieces, but they keep the pressure on with a set piece and get their goal from it. And Gabriel's at the heart of a lot of that. And, so is Declan Rice, another guy who plays every single minute. And you're looking at him as well, thinking he can't break down, because I think he's pivotal to what Arsenal do, especially for.
He played through a broken toe last season.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, it's just. Yeah, I think Gabriel's actually going to be quite a miss. And Cape, he's a good defender, but he hasn't. Has he started a game yet? I think if
he's played 80 minutes at centre back. This is sorry, I don't mean to cut across you, but this is also the plus to rotating. That when someone does go down, he's coming in cold now. He's coming in cold, or else he'll put Calafiori there and he'll rush him back. And
I'd go Masquera.
Yeah, he got dropped in. I know he plays on the other side. He got dropped in at Anfield, and I think that one of the big things is the continuity to your back line is so important. You don't, unless they're forced upon, you don't really want to change it too much. So there's a side
against Port Vale, though, Errol.
Well, this is the point I was going to make.
Slavia Prague in the Champions League, they haven't won a game in 18 years, and he started all of them.
It's horses for courses. So if you know you may have to at some point bed in some of these other lads that have been on the fringes, they're the exact type of games that you want to bed them in. Let them kind of find their feet, get up to speed of it, understand the system. But now you're dropping them in a North London derby, off the bat, straight into a North London derby, and you're expecting them to maintain the level that Gabriel has been putting in and producing for the last 6 to 12 months. Sheik, again, looking at it from the outside, looking in, how big of a miss is somebody like Gabriel in that Arsenal side from your perspective?
Massive miss. Just like we were discussing just a couple of minutes ago, he adds so much. One thing is that we've already seen how he is defensively and how he's elevated as a player defensively in the past couple of years. I think it all started from Arsenal fans saying Saliba was their best center back, and it quickly changed over 2-3 years to Gabriel now being their best center back. So that's one thing for them, is that his presence there alone, just what he adds defensively, him being a leader on the pitch, that's one thing. And then offensively too, in these past couple of games where they haven't been, the best they haven't been creating too much, he's been that avenue for them to either get them back into games or get that winning goal for them. And it's going to be a big miss. Of course, we've always talked about how Saliba looks without Gabriel in the back four. We always talk about how they require leaders in that team, and you're missing one on that pitch on that day. And to be honest, I agree completely with Shane. This is nobody else's fault but Arteta's. You have the squad depth this season. You have no excuses. It's not like 2-3 years ago where you have to roll with Rob Holding to the Etihad in a title decider game. You can manage your minutes. You can manage your players. And I think he hasn't done that at all. There's been a lot of games where I think he could have rotated, and this is what you bought the squad for. And you haven't rotated, and now you're facing injuries like this. I think like Shane could correct me on this, but there was a couple seasons ago where I think it was an FA Cup game, and I think maybe it was against Preston, and the game was done, and he brings on Saka. And towards like the last couple of minutes, why?
He played him for 90 minutes against Port Vale this year when we were 3-0 up. Played him for 90 minutes. He brought Gabriel on. He brought Rice on. Slavia Prague, we were 3-0 up. He played Saka, Gabriel, Saliba, Timber, all for 90 minutes. He took Rice off with 6 minutes left.
Why? Just simple, like, why?
Because he wanted to keep a clean sheet and break silly records, so people use that as excuses to keep him in the job.
Like,
honestly, that's the way his mind works.
How I would think, or how I would view, like, looking at Arsenal now, I obviously from the past couple of years, I could say that they have a very good defensive like foundation, like in terms of whoever they do put out there. So if you do have that defensive foundation, you want to spread that out to all your players, not just the specific ones when you need to grab a result or you need a win, because in situations like this, we all know players are going to get injuries. It's not like anyone's had a perfect season where no player hasn't gone down for, you know, a lengthy period of time. At least one player hasn't gone down for a lengthy period of time. I was thinking, you know, maybe he's going to change, and maybe this might actually, when people were saying this might actually be the year that they win it, it's because, you know, they bought squad depth. But little did we know that that they had to rely on this manager to make those decisions, and currently he's not doing it. And then I think the last thing that Arsenal fans want to hear this season from anyone is that injuries was the reason they didn't win, because they had the squad depth this season. That's the last thing that they would want to hear. And I think a lot of fans would get fed up with it too. The ones who do support him as well would, after a while, do get fed up with him, because they'd be like, how many years are we going to just be on the fact that injuries is the reason that we don't win? You can manage injuries. You can't control an injury. You don't know when it's going to happen, but you can try to manage it. And I just don't think he has been doing that so far.
The data can still suggest when players are playing in the red zone now. Sports science has developed massively in the last 5, 10, you know, even 15 years of football, in the way that the game's changed, and it developed into a more data-driven model of not only just who you sign, who you sell, when they're past the peak, and when you've got them in season, who's in those red zones, who's in those sweet spots. Greg, I'll come to you and I'll get your take on it. Are you giving Arsenal fans the grace of injuries at this moment, or are you a little bit like me in the sense that I don't want to hear no injuries, I ain't got no time for it? Injuries this season are not going to wash as an excuse for me. But do you sympathise with them at all?
So they were saying last season, wasn't it?
Yep.
So I'm not even trying to sound blunt with me answer, yeah. All I remember last season was injuries. And I'm like, look, right, Fairs, okay, whatever, yeah. Okay, sound, you can have 1 season. 2 seasons, now you can't blame the injuries. You've got to look deep down and be like, look, maybe there is an internal problem here, that we're not figuring out. Is it the way they're training? Is it the intensity levels? Is it the game plan? Is it the manager running all the players into the ground? What is it? I'm not accepting injuries as any excuse for any Arsenal downfall this season, personally, because that's all I heard last season. And I just think,
well, he's out for 2 months now. They're going to have to find a way to manage without him. Looking into tomorrow's game, lads, what do you see panning out, and how do you see the game playing out? I'll open that up to anybody that fancies put a bit of a prediction out there. But do you think Arsenal has still got enough, despite the lads on the sideline?
It's Tottenham, ain't it? You know.
We're better on the road than they are at home.
Yeah,
away record's better than home records, like tenfold. And
it's because the way Frank wants to play, isn't it?
That's probably one of the only, things that you can look at the season and be like, oh, you know what, Tottenham actually have a chance going to the Emirates for once. And I backed them to get a draw, especially with the Gabriel injury. And I just think, again, Tottenham's record on the roads away from home, I don't know how they've done it like that, but they have. And it's also all these things, and I think, like Tottenham can only lose at the Emirates, in a row for so long. And I feel like if there's a time where they could nick it, I think if there's a time where they could win at the Emirates, Tottenham, I think it could be now, with a very good away record and with a major loss in Gabriel at centre back.
Yeah. Well, the thing with it is as well is that I do have Arsenal down for a 1-0 win. If Tottenham take the lead, though, I don't think we'll overturn it. I think the best we'll get is a draw. I don't see us overturning them taking the lead. The only problem is that draws killed us last season. And to me, in a league race, especially at this point, draws you may as well lose. You may as well go for the win and lose. It just, if City were to beat Newcastle, they'd be a point behind us going into the game. If they beat Newcastle, and we know what this guy's like under pressure. We know what Arteta's like under pressure. But see, our Arsenal fans are the main majority. I don't say I'm a diehard Arsenal fan, but I disown that other side of them. They've already gone into victim mode. The ref is lined up already. All the things. Oh, it's all about we're going to do blah blah blah. Yeah. Injuries. And I've said this before. My mate Taron, big up to BBK Sports. He says this, and it's perfect for the injuries. That you can't take credit for putting out a fire that you started. So we cannot start moaning about injuries when this guy is behind all of them, right? And not about some of them are impact injuries. Most of them are fatigue injuries. And we've been through them before, Errol. I don't mean to keep stealing the line right here, but
No, this is your segment. This is your segment. You're the Arsenal rep, so rep it, man.
This winds me right up, because if you look at at the injuries. Like we've gone through them before. Ben White played for the first 3 months of last season when he needed knee surgery. Right, he needed knee surgery. He played him for 3 months on it while he waited for Timber to get back. Now Ben White's never going to be the same again. He's in and out of the team all the time. He's never going to be fit. Bukayo Saka, grade 3 hamstring. Havertz, grade 3 hamstring. Timber, had an ACL, which he was made go back out and play on for another 20 minutes, by the way, on his debut. He made go back out and play on it. Thomas Partey was pushed back onto the pitch when he had a hamstring, physically pushed back on by the manager. Timber did an interview after the Champions League semi-final last season, said he couldn't walk the week before the game, and Arteta said, look, I need you, Jerry, and you're going to have to suck it up. That got fairly swept under the carpet, that interview. But we go through the grade 3 hamstrings. I often say this, only 3% of grade 3 hamstrings. Only 3% of hamstrings are grade 3. We had 3 of them last season. That's not a coincidence. There's no such thing as bad luck and things like that. All of these injuries, even the Odegaard one, which was an impact injury, he had to sit down on the pitch, made play on for 15 minutes, sat down again, played on for another while, and then he took him off. And then they found out that it was an MCL, I think it was. And I'll finish on this because I have this on my phone and I keep it. I got it the other day for all these Arsenal fans that claim that, we need to sack the physio, sack everybody else except for Arteta. The final decision is a collaborative one between manager and physio, with the manager having the ultimate authority and decide on a player's fitness for a game, though they rely on the physio's medical expertise. Because I tell them this all the time. The physio will say, look, he's in the red. I wouldn't risk him. I take that into account, but he's playing. Ben White played. One ear, not the other. Exactly. And Ben White played on a grade 2 hamstring against Newcastle 2 years ago as well. So people say, the players want to play. Yeah, he makes them. So I have no sympathy for the injuries. None at all. I have sympathy for me because I'm an Arsenal fan and I see us throwing this away. I know we're going to throw this away. I think City will be top by Christmas and we ain't catching them after that. But it's because of these injuries that this is happening. And again, he could have rotated and he didn't. Nketiah has played 80 minutes at centre-back. And he ironically got injured after a week of training under this manager as well, just like Norgard did. And just like Madueke did. But with no rotation, I can't. And then, like I said, I keep going back to harping back to the Slavia Prague game. If you're playing a team that hasn't won a game in the Champions League in 18 years and you can't rest your main players in that, then they ain't getting a rest this season. And that's all there is to it. He'll run them all into the ground. So I just have no sympathy for it. But yeah, I know we were talking about the match. And after all that, I still do think we'll win 1-0. But if we go 1-0 down, I think we're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
Yeah,
Jamie, you wanted to come in there? Go on.
Yeah, it's going to be a very tight game. It's a North London derby, obviously. I think, do you know what? I watched the Sunderland game, which was a very good game of football, Arsenal-Sunderland. And I think we still saw Arteta's main weakness at the end of that game, where he brings on a defender when he's winning 2-1 to sit very deep against an aggressive Sunderland side that wants to try and get their goal, and they're very, very physical. And they brought on, is it Robbie, who's got the pace to get in behind, for the last 10 minutes and put his physicality there. I just thought that's where Arteta sometimes, when I see a Pep in even slot last season, they're probably bringing in midfielders or attackers on in that circumstance to keep the ball further up the field and keep the ball and keep possession higher up keep the possession higher up the pitch. That's what big teams usually do. They don't usually go and sit back like that. And I just think that is what Arteta is. He's a pragmatic manager. He's a pragmatic coach. He always has been, always will be. And I think that sometimes that can be your downfall because it's not actually losing games. It's draws that kill you. Draws really kill you because if Arsenal draw the Spurs, they drew their last 2 Premier League games. If City beat Newcastle, they've got 6 points in 2 games. Arsenal got 2 points in 2 games. Where Arsenal might as well lose one and win one. You get that extra point. It's a massive difference, And if that happens this weekend, City beat Newcastle, which I think is a difficult game for them. But if they get through that, and Spurs set up similar to the way Sunderland played, because Spurs can be physical as well, especially with thingy up front. What's his name? West Ham guy.
Not Solanke. Oh, Kudos.
No, Kudos, that's it. Who puts it about, he's physical. Yeah. So, yeah, I would. Then the pressure's really on Arteta as a coach because City would be 1 point behind him in the title race, and you don't want that. As me and Errol know, you don't want that chasing. It's lethal and it's dangerous. It's a must-win game for Arsenal because I believe they got games coming up away to Chelsea or right up there as well, to their credit.
I think it's Spurs,
Villa
Bayern. Well. Yeah, Spurs
Chelsea away.
Spurs, Bayern, Chelsea away, And then I think there's a couple of other games that look
And
like...
then they got
Villa
Villa
away.
as well, ain't they, in that time as well? So these are difficult fixtures with the injury list. So, look, it won't surprise me if Arsenal, and Shane said, gets a 1-0 win. But I can see Spurs going there, setting up quite defensively, trying to be physical, and try and use the pace on the counter-attack. I think that'd be their setup.
I said 1-1 earlier in the week because I just thought I can't see Arsenal scoring and being loads of goals, and they might struggle with set-piece goals. And I think Spurs will at least get the one, and I think they'd probably share the spoils there in that respect. Sheik, just before we turn our attention to Manchester United, do you have any predictions for how this game this weekend is going to turn out?
Yeah, I think it will definitely be like a close game for sure. I have Arsenal winning. I would say like a 1-0 win for them. I think they have enough quality to get over the line. I think it could be a game similar like when they visited us at Old Trafford at the start of the season, where they score an early goal and they really don't have to do much after that because they have even though Gabriel was there that game and they're missing him in this one, they still have that defensive foundation that I was talking about where they're able to invite pressure, give the ball to the team, but just because of how they're set up, they're able to sustain all those attacks and keep a clean sheet. Maybe the Spurs game won't go that certain way because it is a derby, and I know they'll turn up for it despite how bad any team's playing in both these situations. Teams always turn up for derbies and big games like this, but I think the most important thing is how massive this game is because one, it's a derby. You don't want to lose to Tottenham, especially at home. Two, in light of all the things that have been going on, if they drop points currently to a Tottenham side, and then considering all these fixtures that they have upcoming, it could be real ugly.
It could unravel very. Yeah, it could unravel very.
It could be real. It could be really, really ugly. And I know like the things that we'll see on the internet and the things that are going to be said are going to be ugly too, because there's just going to be some harsh truths that are going to go around for a lot of fans, for people who've been positive that this is still the reality of things. Is couple of results here and there, even a draw in this game would massively hinder a lot of things for them. And I think the biggest thing would be is that confidence would drop a little bit. I think the past couple of games that they've been playing, even though some might say they haven't necessarily been playing well, they've still been able to pick up results. They've been they had that clean sheet record where defensively they looked great, but then all of those things can definitely go away in a week or two time. And it's this game too. That's why I think it's very important for him to win. Like he has to win this game, definitely. And if not, then I think things could derail for their season, definitely after a performance, like after a game like this, because it's in light of everything that's going on, Gabriel injury, Arteta talks, managing the squad, all of that. If you go and lose a game like this because of reasons like that, I could just only imagine what the fan base would be saying. And all the things that would be said about this team. So, and it could be a great hindrance to the confidence that the players already have and all of that type of stuff. So
the one last thing that I will say on it is it's going to be very interesting, and I think you guys mentioned it earlier, the Saliba impact now and the implication it has on Saliba. We're really going to see because it's been a couple of years now. I think not necessarily they've been on par, but Saliba was the guy that everyone was, bigging up and propping up and everything. And then Gabriel's kind of come into his own, and now they accept that Gabriel crashes it in both boxes and he's absolutely brilliant. I think it'll be interesting to see now as Saliba learns enough to have the leadership qualities to be able to man the ship in Gabriel's absence to the level that's required for it to continue pushing towards a Premier League title. So that is going to be an interesting one to keep our eye on. As we do turn our attention to Manchester United, look, lads, I'll come to Sheik last on this, and I'll get your guys' thoughts first. I'll start with you, Greg. Amorim's been in post now for a year. He made it to his 1-year anniversary as the Manchester United manager. And my big question regarding him and the situation at Manchester United, obviously only got one game a week at the moment in the Premier League. They're not in any other competition until the FA Cup in the new year. Has he taken them as far as he can go with his tactics, his setup, the players that he's brought in? Or is this the start of a new era where he will have a lot more control and he will be able to slowly start to rebuild Manchester United in his own image?
Well, I mean, we can all agree that this is the safest Amorim's job's ever been.
Yes.
This is the safest. And I think in recent games, I don't think there's actually been a lot of kind of visible progression other than results, which is a mad thing to say, because as long as you're getting results, like, you should be happy in it. But from what I've seen of United anyway, and from what I've seen on social media as well, it almost seems like United fans are kind of expecting this to go horribly wrong very, very soon, and almost this to be just a very temporary kind of good purple patch, because you having games where you're not really.
The fans aren't convinced, are they? Even if the players seem to be playing for them.
So like, there's no real conviction in the results, and there's no real kind of, as I said, progression signs in the results. They are just good results, but good results without performances. Without good performances can only take you so long. I mean, look at Liverpool this season. That's what we can go off to kind of represent that idea. So I don't know. I just think give him a full season, and then you can kind of use that to estimate where the direction that United are heading in, because I just think it's hard to say, because obviously it's a different kind of format for United this season, obviously with no European football, only Premier League until the FA Cup comes in. It's completely different circumstances and different, it's a whole different ball game for them this season. And they could easily finish in the top 8. They could easily finish in the top 6. You never know. Like, you just don't know. But how close the league is this season, like, literally anything can happen. Like,
well, I was on Shell Show the other day, and Shell was telling me that they're getting Champions League. He's ready to stick his chest out and say they're getting Champions League.
Do you get what I mean? Like, this
I've said it for a couple of weeks. I've said it for a couple of weeks though. The one big advantage is all of their supposed rivals and everybody else that is fighting for something have got multiple fronts that they need to be, putting their squad towards, whether it's Conference League, Europa League, Champions League, Carabao Cup. United have only got one game a week.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying now. Like, I just think this season's such a different season in terms of the dynamic at United, where they don't have European football, they don't have any cup competitions apart from the FA Cup to look at now, because out the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup doesn't start until January for the big teams, and obviously the league's just the one that you're always looking at to every weekend. And it's not, as I said, the game plan at the start of this season was not the same as last season. I imagine for last season, when Amorim came in, the game plan for United was win the Europa League, finish top 5, maybe get a domestic cup on the way. That was what the game plan was. Right now, they're probably just thinking, look, just get us back into European football, and then we can see where to go from there. And 100%. That's what I said. I just think for now, the basis is, the extreme basis is that Amorim's currently in the safest position he's ever been. There's no threat of him being sacked really now, unless it really goes horribly wrong. But I think to say, if he's going to build his own team, or kind of, what was the phrase you said? Kind of have his own
built it in his own image, really. Build that team.
Build it in his own image. Yeah, I think you've got to give him one full season first to kind of be able to get the answer to that question, if you know what I'm saying.
No, I do, and I think it's still early, just because obviously he came in but partway through a season last year. I think he's had two proper transfer windows, one summer window, and again, I think you're judging him in a completely different way than we're judging all the other teams, because he's just focusing on the league. So while his form may be good, he's not having to deal with the travelling, the other arrangements, the squad size. He can just work with a tight-knit group. So on paper, it looks all right, but is he just papering over cracks? And that's kind of where I'm trying to get to things. And I don't know what your take on it is, Shane. Do you think he has finally stabled the ship, or stopped the rot at United? And is it signs that they are turning a corner?
Muted.
Sorry, Shane, you're on mute there, brother.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know about stop the rot. He's definitely steadied the ship a little bit, but 2 losses in a row will suddenly change that back again. You know what I mean? So
is that us as fans? Are we just getting more fickle though? As football fans on the whole, are we just getting more fickle?
No, I don't think so.
He's right.
No, I look into it a bit deep. Like, I just think that with the not playing Mainu thing, with the stubbornness, with the tactics, I see it with my own manager, but with him, it's almost worse somehow. It's the young breed of manager that's out now. They think they're philosophers and stuff like that, and they have these tactics that everybody have to break into my system, and you have to do this. Like, I just finished reading Sven-Goran Eriksson's book, and he said he started out that way, but then he started to move up to bigger clubs. He went over to Serie A and stuff like that, and he was going to Roma where they had these top players, and he was like, well, I can't be bending them into my tactics. I got to loosen my tactics a little to get the best out of them. They're some of the world's best players. And the modern manager now, this is my tactics. This is how you play. If you don't fit it, you're not in. Instead of sort of bending the team around it, not completely, but a little bit. Show a bit of flexibility. But I don't know. He looks. There was a stage there about a month and a half ago, and I thought like he's looking to get fired. I think he wants. He just looked. I thought he was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Yeah. He looked in bits. Like, and you just look at him and you go, "There's something not right." And can he take them any further? I don't know if he can. I really don't. I don't think he's cut out for it. I think he's wimpish or something. I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong about him. Maybe it'll suddenly click. But I just look at him and I go, you are so stubborn. No, subbing on defenders for defenders when you need a goal and things like that. It's just like, I mean, you really are just trying to do it on your terms. It's like you're trying to prove a point. And there's a lot of managers like that now. They're trying to prove a point, and I will show you. And instead of wanting to win for winning's sake, they want to win on their terms. And I look at United, and I'm one of the rare few. Like, I used to despise United when I was young as well. You know what I mean? I grew up in Ireland, so it was me and a handful of other fans, and then 40% Liverpool, 40% United in my school. You know what I mean? So they were the two. They'd be my two big rivals, you know. But I'm one of the few that goes, it's actually getting kind of sad now. You know what I mean? Like, they should be up higher. It's kind of sad. And I remember United fans saying that to me when they beat us 8-2. One of my mates that we used to always go back and forth, and I was waiting for the onslaught, and you just said, it's not even funny anymore. And that hurt me more than him taking the piss out of me. I was like, no, take the piss out of me, like, because it's a lot worse when you just have sympathy for me. But I said that at the start of the season, if United get top 8, they've done okay. If they get top 6, it's a very good season. And top 4 would just be unbelievable. Kenny Ken predicted top 4 for them, so, and he knows the stuff. Wow. So I don't know. I still think if they get top 8, it's a half decent season, and if they get top 6, it's a very good season. But will it happen? I don't know.
Will they play Everton on Monday night? I think it is. One of the things that Shane just said then just made me think, and it was the sense that, you know, some of the best managers are able to adapt their game to the talent and the world-class talent, or not necessarily the world-class talent, but the talent that's available to them. And what I'm getting at with this is, we've seen that this season with Pep. Pep is still the gold standard of managers, and even he, in all of his experience, with all of his accolades, with all of his silverware to show for what he's done in the game, he still looked and went, well, I've not got no natural fullback, so I'm going to convert me 2 centre midfielders and turn them into fullbacks, right and left flank. I'm going to, you know, I'm not going to have a ball-playing goalkeeper that I've had in most of the clubs, wherever I've been, whether it was Neuer, whether it was Stegen over in Barcelona, Valdez at times.
Victor Valdez.
Victor Valdez. He just went, no, sir, we'll do it with Donnarumma, and we'll go long if we need to go long, and we'll hit the channels for the wingers, or we'll hit it to pump the ball long to Haaland, and he'll make it stick, and, you know, we'll utilise his hold-up play. And I just think, again, my managers in this bracket, and I'm sure Jamie will attest that at this moment, we are, and Arteta definitely, Amorim, of course, we do seem to have these new breed of managers that are just really stubborn and are only able to focus on what it is that they know. Anything outside of that is past their comfort zone, and are not prepared to put their name or their brand of football aligned next to it. Jamie, just quickly before I do go to Sheik, in terms of once he's heard all of our thoughts on Amorim, we got embarrassed by them. You know, a big game. She said before, you don't want to get embarrassed in a derby, but that was like a derby to us a couple of weeks ago, almost a month now, just over a month now, in October. That's given them the platform to at least believe that they can, not necessarily even have to save the season, but they can kick on this season, where it knocked the wind out of Liverpool at the time. Do you look at this Man United side differently after that game now and think, there have been improvements, even if they are just marginal and they are slight, they are starting to improve and move slowly but surely in the right direction?
Yeah, look, their improvements are what they did in the window by getting the forwards that suit Amorim a little bit better in their system.
100%.
Yeah,
couldn't agree more.
That's what, because if you look at everything else, it's pretty much the same. It's just that forward area of the pitch. They can now get the ball out quicker. To like in Wormo or something like that, who can hold it up and move up the pitch quicker. You know, before they couldn't do that, they couldn't really get out. They had no one to get out to because Højlund, for whatever reason it was, either didn't suit the league, he's just really
He was a
bad,
donkey.
or
He was just a donkey.
yeah, it's just like for whatever, and he couldn't hold it out. He couldn't bring people into play that could bring it out to him. Now, if they get stuck in a position, they can knock it out into the wide areas, and Cunha would chase it, Wermo would chase it, Sesko can hold it up. So that's helped him massively to get further up the pitch. You know, I always say I think Bruno Fernandes is a wonderful footballer. lot of people are 50-50 on him. I think he's a wonderful footballer. I think he's got the second highest creation in the league this year as well. I think Delit's been excellent, you know, at centre back for them. I think he's been very, very good. The thing Man United not getting in Europe last year, if you're a Man United fan, might actually be a blessing for him this season, because it can let Amorim actually just concentrate on one game a week and everything in training. He can just concentrate on getting his team back where it wanted to be. Look, I think he said it when he joined. He actually wanted to join this summer and not last season, didn't he? Because he wanted a pre-season with his team to build his philosophy. Because playing a 3-4-3 is a bit of a culture shock sometimes. It takes time to change your team into that system. So he wanted a pre-season to do it. I'm not going to say they're back or anything, because I think it's still a long way to go for them. But the way the league is right now, you know, 5th place is there. It's available. And the 5th place is probably going to be a Champions League place, you would have probably thought, at the end of the season. So I think that's there and available. I mean, if you look at their rivals to that position right now, you got
Liverpool.
You got Liverpool, the way we are right now.
You got
Spurs, Newcastle, and Newcastle again with Europe sometimes struggle a little bit in the domestic league. Villa,
absolutely.
Villa, who started awful but then got on the bit now. Yeah, it's going to be. Yeah, that 5th spot's definitely available for Man United, and with them playing once a week, they might actually have the, you know, advantage for that position. You know, it helps.
That's taking the resting Casemiro out of his hands as well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And he looks like a completely different player.
Well, that's what Casemiro looks completely different this season to last season.
Well, that's what I was going to ask Sheik then. Is there an opportunity this season? Now, I don't know if you would have predicted Manchester United to break back into Champions League. I know that's what you would have wanted them to be doing, whether you thought it was, you know, doable or not, a different matter. But I keep saying things are fluid in the league, where you can adjust your expectations or your ambitions based on how things are panning out. And can you see a world where Manchester United do finish in a Champions League spot? I won't even say top 4, but in one of those Champions League spots this season?
Yeah, I don't think. Look, I mean, to be honest, we've seen a season where Leicester won the league. Anything can happen, 100%, like for sure. So just based off of that, I don't think there's there's no chance. I don't think there's like a 0% chance that we find ourselves in the Champions League or anything.
No, but even I'm basing that on I'm basing that on like what everyone else has said. The other teams around United at the moment don't look like they're going to hit the ground running and go on a crazy run.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly. So even if we were just to bring up, let's say, the top 6 or the top 7, and the top 6 or 7 of last year, I think included Forest. They've fallen off a cliff this season. So that's one team that we could technically leapfrog on the table and get into their position. But yeah, the rest of the teams too. I don't think Villa look as good as they were last year. Yeah, they started picking up a couple of results in the middle of the season, but they don't look as good as they did last year. Newcastle still are there. Obviously, they have a couple of big misses with them missing Isak this season, but they're still kind of like they're not entirely convincing. Not a lot of teams look entirely convincing, so that does leave an avenue for us to try to get into that race for top 4. And like you said perfectly, you can start off with objectives at the start of the season, but objectives do change depending on where you find yourself on the table. You might start off in a top 4 race like you guys last year, Liverpool, but then you ended up in a title race and you won the league. And that's something that happened last season. You found yourself in that position and you just kept it going. And it's the same thing for us. We might find ourselves in a position where we might be a couple of points off from 4th, 5th place, with us potentially facing that team in the future too. So why not? I think at that moment, I've talked about this before too, is that I don't want to hear from our manager and from our players that, this wasn't like our original objective. We're proud of being here and we're proud of making it to the stage, but we just fell short. I don't care. If you find yourself in a top 4 race, if you find yourself, just a couple points away from that objective, go out there and put your life out the line for that objective, because we had an abysmal last season. I don't know if people still talk about 15 places the worst I've seen with my own 2 eyes. My own 2 eyes, I've never seen it worse. I slated Ten Hag, the manager before this. This guy did worse than him. He has a worse record than him. He has a worse win percentage than him. And a couple more things that I could mention too. Ten Hag's been at a club and he's already been sacked. And this guy's still here. And he's still spending money and he's still living life free and he's still telling us that we're suffering. So it's like all these type of things. When he mentioned that he has the safest job currently right now, I honestly think his job's been safe since he joined here. There's every single thing, and something I don't know if you guys have noticed.
Do you think he's out of survival mode? Do you think he's out of survival mode now, though?
I think that those things will come up a little bit towards the end of the season, depending on where we are. But right now, he's enjoying on an island. He's cool. He got what he wanted in terms of. I also wanted to mention this real quick too, which I was getting to, is that every single thing that he's asked for when he's come to this club, he's gotten every single thing. That's why even though I am a lot of the times critical of Ineos, in this situation, I don't actually blame them for a lot of the things, because every single thing that this manager asked for, whether it's getting Rashford out, whether it's getting Garnacho out, whether it's getting Onana out, whether it's, getting a wing back in January because you needed some players, whether it's keeping Bruno at the club when we had a 100 million offer and you decided to keep him, you got that as well. You wanted to sign more attacking players. You wanted to get a new goalkeeper. You got all of that this season. So I won't hear any excuses from you, because you got every single thing that you asked for. You told us that this is what you really need. A storm is coming, better players, this and that. We need to invest. We did all that. We invested for you. And again, one of those things why I just mentioned the whole Ten Hag thing, that guy went to a new club, got sacked. He's still here spending money and he's doing worse than him. And when people were talking about, we've improved this and that, I'm so glad that you guys mentioned that point. We haven't improved. It's really our better players, our new signings that are doing good things for us, which I said at that time would be an improvement. When people were telling me, is our attack going to be better? Of course it is. When you're getting Mbeumo, who scored 20 goals last year in the Premier League, when you're getting Cunha, who had about 15 to 20 GNA in the Premier League too, has had at least over 10 in the past 2-3 seasons, of course you're going to get an improvement on your attack over Garnacho and Højlund. This is this is just a thing, right? Same thing with Onana. You see a goalkeeper out here sitting here praising our goalkeeper for catching, crosses and catching, all that type of stuff. This is just where we are now. Do I look at this manager and look at him and be like, you know what, how you're setting up the team and how you set up our attack and how you set up everything is the reason why we're playing better? No, I genuinely don't think that at all. We still have the same problems. When we sometimes lack creativity, he puts our best creative player in Bruno, like statistics will tell you that he's our best creative player. He puts him in a pivot to play alongside Casemiro, who, that guy is someone that we call like a destroyer, and this guy leaves him on an island all by himself in that midfield. And then people wonder, why are we still getting bypassed in midfield? Why is there so much space in midfield? Why is there all these things? Another thing is this guy lies straight up. In preseason, he told us he had big plans for Kobbie Mainoo this season, that he's looking to, put him into the squad, give him a lot more minutes. I couldn't tell you how many minutes Kobbie Mainoo's played. Genuinely couldn't tell you how many minutes he's played. Also, another thing is that this same player, Kobbie Mainoo, saved your ass in that Europa League game against Lyon. You brought him on and he scored that equalizer. And now you don't want to bring him on when we need a goal or when we're trying to win a game or we're trying to draw a game. He literally had that moment for you. And you don't want to do this anymore for whatever reason. He's now starting to tell us things that he's fighting with Bruno for his position. So he's not competing with Ugarte. He's not competing with any of the other players that we have. It's just Bruno. So Ugarte can come on when we need a goal or when we're chasing a game. We're bringing on one of our worst midfielders ever I've seen in my life. Like Fred was a blessing in disguise now that I think of it, because we have Ugarte at our club. But we bring this guy on when we need a goal, and you're telling me that Kobbie can't play over him, that Kobbie's fighting for his position with Bruno. So a couple of these things that it really makes no sense. And again, I just don't think he's going to last long here at all. I still think at the end of the season, he's not going to be here. And he's going to be gone.
Where does Kobbie Mainoo actually play in a 3-4-3 though? Because he hasn't got great.
James put it in the chat there. He's only played up.
Yeah, because when I watch him play, he hasn't really got legs, has he? So he can't play in that pivot. If you're going to play him in the 10, he's probably that's where Bruno should play. So you're not going to play him above Bruno. So I do wonder where his best position would be in this system.
Another thing is, you mentioned that too.
Hello.
He's played in every single position as well. Last season, Cobby was tried out. I don't know if you guys remember this. He actually played as a false 9 in one game as well.
Yeah.
Cobby literally played as a false 9. So it's like he's tried. I mean, I've seen that he's tried to put him in different positions to see which position would be his best and all of those type of things. But then again, you've seen improvements from, the new signings that you have. You couldn't think to like once in yourself that if I put Cobby around these players, maybe I can get something better around him. Maybe if he's in that attack playing alongside Cunha and Mbeumo, who are like those two outlets that you can just ping the ball to and then you expect them to create something from it. The fact that he doesn't even think any of those things going into this season is crazy. And like I just mentioned, he told us at the start of this season that he had big plans for Cobby Mainoo going into this season. He was going to put him in in different positions and all of that. I personally think his best position is as a 10. I don't think he can play as an 8. I don't think he can play as a 6. He doesn't have the legs like you mentioned for it. He's very, very good in tight spaces and in the final third where we see a lot of his quality. But again, it's tough because you now have Cunha who's playing well. You now have Mbeumo who's playing well. There's a Bruno Fernandes above him who we all say is more creative in that 10 position. So it makes it a little bit tough for him to get minutes in the squad. But I look more at, and I'll tell you another thing which is going to be a big issue for us coming up. I look at more in situations in certain games where you are down a goal or you need some sort of spark and you bring on other players instead you're bringing on defenders. Like I'm trying to think in my head what game it was exactly, but he brought on a defender. I think it was Forrest. I think it was Forrest when he brought on defenders when we were when we were I think 2-1 down and we needed a goal. And Xerxes another one. Showed us quality last season, showed us, that he can gel and he looks like a false 9 type of player for us, good for the system. Haven't seen him at all. Like he's barely played in any of our games too. And again, it's like one game a season. He did mention this. He said 1 game a season. 1 game a week. It's tough to rotate your squad, this and that. I get it. You want to get results. The biggest thing for you right now is to get results. You want to make sure that, you get your results. And that's the most important thing currently for the fan base and for everyone, but for your job too. But it's like you have to kind of be a little bit, you have to adapt. And that's the biggest thing is that I don't see these type of things from him. And I don't see him adapting. It's my way or the highway. These players have to play in these positions. Dalot, his Portuguese brother, plays in every game. Like he can have a shit performance, but he somehow sees the pitch every single game. And he's terrible. And these things, I don't get. And I think this is another reason why I don't think he's going to last long here. And I'll tell you guys this, you guys should look a lot closer to when we reach AFCON, because when we reach AFCON, we're missing Mbeumo, we're missing Ahmad. Our whole right-hand side, by the way, is gone to AFCON. So our whole right-hand side that we've been seeing Mbeumo, by the way, I think he has 4 or 5 goals in the league. He's been probably our best attacking player. He's gone. Ahmad, who's been supporting him on that right-hand side, he's gone. So what are you going to do now? Mazraoui, another one who was very pivotal for us last season, but has barely seen minutes this season because of injuries. He's also going to be another one gone. So am I going to see Cobby Mainoo in this team? Am I going to see Xerxes into this team? Or what are you going to do? Are you going to still try to shoehorn Mount into this team? Are you still going to shoehorn Ugarte somehow into this team? These are the things that I'm genuinely looking forward to. And that will tell me.
Mount plays.
That will tell me a lot.
Yeah.
Honestly, however he picks his team selection in AFCON and how he adapts to that will tell me whether we actually have a chance of finishing in the top 4 or not. Because those fixtures are tough. And for us to drop points in those fixtures for however long that they're gone for can be very, very crucial to us. It can be enough gap for us to just not be able to catch up to the rest of the teams.
I think that is a fair assessment, and I think you made a really good point about the AFCON. Obviously, there's quite a number of key players, or started to show that the key players for United this season. One manager that is definitely in survival mode at the moment, and definitely could probably do with results again, as opposed to performances. And I know we're going to round off, and it'll be brief because we've spent a number of hours the unpacking Liverpool's misfortunes over the last.
We've all had meetings. We've all
had the meetings. People are probably sick of it. But Liverpool are playing Forest. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff. Alisson's back from injury. Conor Bradley is injured again. I'll come to the Liverpool lads first. Greg and Jamie. Can Liverpool finally ignite something this season in the Premier League? Talk to me, lads.
Greg's quiet. Look, these fixtures we've got coming up all the way to, I think, the 8th of January. I think the two difficult games in that are Arsenal and Tottenham.
Yeah.
Away from home. This is an excellent run of fixtures. On any other season, I'd say, like, especially our next 4 or 5 games, I'd say like 15 points.
Yeah.
Any other season, I think we all would. I think we're all in this. We don't know. we just don't know what Liverpool's going to turn up. I mean, a lot of Liverpool fans, like, if this was last season, you know, at home to Nottingham Forest after international break, them 18th in the Premier League, whatever it is, you'd think comfortable 3 points, wouldn't you, straight away, thinking about it. I don't know many Liverpool fans who think it's going to be a comfortable 3 points. I think we feel like we should get the win. But obviously, we're just not sure how we're going to turn up and how we're going to play. Obviously, with the injuries now, we literally got no right back. So does that mean, and we can't, I know he's played someone like right back. He's our best midfielder right now. He's the heart of our team. He can't play in that position. Yeah. It might be the chance now to go Calvin Ramsey to step up.
Can we throw him in? Can he be included? Yeah.
But because because they've classed him as non-homegrown, ain't they? Because he had that. Because he had that year in Scotland where you don't count as homegrown. So, look, Calvin Ramsey. If there's a game to put him in, it actually might be this game, Errol, because Liverpool probably going to have 80% of the ball in this game because the way Dyche is probably going to set up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's going to be like low block. He's going to do everything Slot says he hates, basically. So that's how he's going to set up, which I don't blame him to, by the way. He's not going to go there and try and play on the front foot. He's going to play in that low block, make it difficult for Liverpool. So it might be the game for Calvin Ramsey to play in if he's eligible. You know, I still don't know if he is. A lot of people say he's eligible because he's counting as non-homegrown. So I'm not sure. I'm hoping he is because we haven't got another right back.
We haven't got another right back. We are going to.
And I don't want to see Szoboszlai there, and I don't want to see Curtis Jones there. I want to see our best players especially in that midfield area. We need them there. So that's going to be one I'm looking forward to. Obviously, no Verts available for the week or two. I wouldn't have started Verts anyway. So I'd literally go with the Premier League winning midfield at this moment in time that won it last season. They know each other. They know what to do.
And they didn't get the result last season against them, so they'll have a little bit of
I'll just go with that. I would go with that 3. But the interesting one, Errol, it is the interesting one for the game is Slot's talked a lot lately, especially in the national break, a lot of news and that come out about him wanting Ekitike and Isak to play together.
Yeah. I'm ready for it. I'm ready. I got
a feeling that's what's going to happen tomorrow.
Do you think a diamond? Do you think we'll go with a diamond?
I don't know. I think you might just play Ekitike off the left, Isak through the middle, Salah off the right.
I wouldn't mind that either.
But then use Ekitike as that more of like an inside forward, so he's a bit more narrow. Maybe let Kirkes then play left back to actually get forward and use his strengths, get into that more space in that area of the pitch. Because Ekitike in this game might be. I think we badly missed Ekitike in the Palace game when he got suspended. Because we had no link-up player. He's excellent at dropping in and linking up, especially against low blocks. So I think he'd be perfect. And Isak needs to play games now. You know, he just needs to play. And I do think Isak is Slot's number 1, number 9, no matter what. So, yeah, I think that's how he's going to go. And it's just the right-back situation. I just if Ramsey's available, man, just stick him in. Because he ain't going to put Gomez in there because of the worry of the centre-back situation. I get it. So yeah, that's how I'd set up and just go for this Forest game because our fixtures after that: West Ham away, Sunderland at home, Leeds away. You know, these Premier League fixtures, Liverpool should be winning. So yeah, we got to start. We got to actually show up, and there's no hiding place now. There's no international break till March. You know, 3 games a week almost. I actually think this is going to help us more, to be fair.
I hope so, mate. I hope so. Jamie, thank you for joining us. Shout out your channel as well, please. Let people know where you can get some of your content.
Yeah, Liverpool Chats TV. Everything Liverpool related.
There we go. Greg, I'll come to you and then do the same for us once you've had your say. Thoughts for tomorrow's game? Where's it won? Where's it lost? Are you happy that Alexander Isak is back in the mix?
I mean, of course I am. That's all I want. All I've wanted to see this season is Ekitike and Isak play together. I think I've been one of the biggest advocates for it on social media. I think every single time I've just said, let these play together all the time, please. Just give them 60 minutes together each game, please. Just in whatever way, whatever system, just make them two play together at the same time. And I hope that tomorrow is another one of those days, just like in Frankfurt, where they both start together. Setting up wise, honestly, I just hope it's not Szoboszlai at right back. Honestly, I'd rather play some random Al fella in the stands than Szoboszlai at right back, because he's so pivotal to the midfield.
I agree.
He's just so important. And you take him out the midfield, then I'll be honest, I'll go as far to say that we've already lost the game. That's just the kind of mood I'm in right now. Might be a bit too dramatic. I can understand that. However,
I get it, man. I get
it. We've been there. Shane's not used to seeing us as the Liverpool lads all like this. Fucking hell.
So just make sure that Szoboszlai and Gravenberch are both in the midfield, and McAllister too, since Wirtz is not there. And honestly, as I said, just play Joe Gomez at right back, or even
Endo.
I want to see Joe Gomez at right back. Yeah, no, I do. I actually do.
I don't know why he's not getting played more. I don't know why he's not getting played more. I know he's not the best. I know he's not the best.
It's not even that he's not the best. It's we haven't got another centre back. And if anything happened to our main ones, Joe's got to come in until he breaks. And if he was to play in another position and he breaks, then we're fucked. So that's where we're up to. Greg, if you had to give us a score prediction, what would it be for tomorrow? And let us know where people can find you on socials.
2-1 Liverpool, because obviously I'm never going to predict my team to lose. So 2-1 Liverpool. And you can find me at Who Is Greg on pretty much all socials.
Perfect. Brother, I appreciate you. I appreciate you jumping on and getting involved with us once again. And I'm sure we'll catch up after the match tomorrow. Shane, give us some of your score predictions and where people can catch some of your content as well, please, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I think Liverpool will. I think they'll win. I think 2-1 as well. I know Forest did just there last year, but that was a freak game. They just hit us on the counter attack. But I think Liverpool will win. I think they're going to go off on a bit of a run. I don't think they're going to go mad, but I think they will win the next few games in a row. But yeah, I'm with the lads. I just think he needs to go back to as close to last season as possible. With the Wirtz injury, might actually be a bit of a blessing for him in a weird way, take it out of his hands. But I'm as well. I think Ekitike and Isak, when they're both fit, just have to play together, because they'll win your games on just the two of them alone will win your games. But yeah, Shane Gooner, go live every morning at 10:30 for the full Irish breakfast. And then tomorrow night I have my show Off Topic, which we will be discussing the greatest academies of all time, the greatest football academies of all time.
Ooh, I love that. Sounds like a good one. Sheik, thank you for joining us as well, brother. I really appreciate you jumping on. Hope you're keeping well over stateside. I'm not sure, it's probably not this week. It might be next week, Thanksgiving. If it is,
next week.
As it's an American thing as opposed to a religious thing, I guess. But I hope all of yours enjoy the festivities. And I hope you're keeping well, brother. Let people know where they can catch some of your content as well, please, bro.
Yeah, just quick regarding the game, of course. I think Liverpool end up winning 2-1. It's so funny how like last season the fixture was the way it was, and now how both teams have become going into the fixture this season. Like both teams have completely changed. But yeah, I think you guys still end up getting the win. Completely agree with the whole Isak and Ekitike thing too. Like, why have you guys signed these players if you're not thinking about playing them together at one point? And especially in this moment right now when you kind of have to, this is probably the best opportunity to do it. So yeah, I think they end up getting the win. Appreciate you having me on, of course. Shout out to the panel every single time as well. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you guys are running up the likes and subscribing. You guys can find me over on Sheik TV on YouTube. I do a show every single Monday called the Mud Brothers Show, where we discuss Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, and United, myself, our clubs, everything related. So check that show out.
We might be a new addition to that in a couple of weeks, lad.
It's so funny because we've been talking about it. Yeah, we've been talking about it. Like, do we need to somehow? Do we need to? Someone asked me, like a panelist on the show said, "Yo, maybe we need to get a Liverpool panelist on the show and add them."
Oh,
that's a good question, because the show started last season, and obviously Manchester City and Liverpool just weren't involved. And the reason why Arsenal are there is because we have fans that don't like. We have panelists that don't like Arteta, and they still think that they're in the mud and all that since he's here. So that's why we put Arsenal into that whole thing. But the rest, yeah, like we're thinking about adding maybe Liverpool into it. But I do that show every single.
Chat to
Yeah,
you after the
100%.
weekend. And we'll sort.
100%. But yeah, you guys can find me on Cheek TV. Thank you guys for all the support so far. Yeah, make sure you guys support the channel and support Errol, and check out everybody else's channel too.
Lessons. Well, I really appreciate it, lads. Thank you very much for your time on this Friday evening. Guys in the chat, thank you for getting involved and engaging with us. Hope everybody has a blessed weekend. I hope Liverpool get the 3 points. And I am starting to now need favours. So Spurs, if you've got anything for us, I will take it gladly this weekend. But outside of that, gents, I hope you all have a brilliant weekend. I hope you all stay blessed, stay safe, look after yours. And I will catch you all in the next one. Take it easy. Peace out.